Okay, so let's get that gun loaded up. Right, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put it on half cock. That allows the cylinder to spin freely so we can load it. Okay, then we're going to take our powder measure, and this is a 36 caliber. I'm going to use 20 grains of 3F Go-X. Now the way powder charges are designated in grains, that's a weight. It's not a volume. And I've got a blog post on my website that explains this in detail, so I'm not going to go through a whole lot of it today. But the idea is whoever made this measure up determined that much space of black powder is going to weigh 20 grains, and nominally it should. Right, so we're talking about weight, but we're actually loading all the time by volume. We're using this measure. So we've got that with 20 grains of powder. I'm going to pour that right into the chamber. Right, make sure we got it all, and we do. Beautiful. All right, now I'm going to take a 375-inch diameter lead ball. I'm going to put that right on top. I'm going to rotate it until I can get it underneath this loading lever, and then I'm just going to press it home. Right, and there we go. Now I'm going to do that until I've loaded 5 chambers. I like to keep one empty for safety, but there's no real reason to. If you want to load 6, you can. You have safety pins on this, and they work just fine. So I'm going to load up the other chambers, and then I'll show you how we finish this off. Now what I use is a homemade lube. I make this obviously myself, and it's made of 2 parts lamb's tallow and 1 part beeswax. Okay, so you might think that's more trouble than you want to go through, and that's okay. I will tell you that half olive oil and half beeswax, you know, melt the beeswax, mix the olive oil in with it, let it sit. That works great. And all we do with this, put some on a knife and spread it over the ends of the chambers. And that'll provide lubrication for the ball as it goes down the barrel. And will help to keep the fouling soft, and everything will be great. So we're going to lubricate up all 5 chambers that I just loaded. This lube that I make works pretty well at all temperatures. It's barely above freezing today, and yet it's still soft enough to use, but it won't turn liquid in hot summer weather. It's got a pretty high melting point. And the lamb's tallow gives it a lot of lubricating qualities, so it's quite good. I don't want to make a bloody mess, but I might. I probably could have loaded this with 22 or 23 grains of powder. I like to use 20, but all right, so there we are. So we are all lubed up, except for our empty chamber, right? And now we can move on to the last step, which is capping. All right, so I'm going to cap it with Remington number 10 caps. And I'm going to do this by hand just to show you. So we're just going to take a little cap. And I'm going to slide it right onto each nipple. Okay. It's as simple as that. So I'll just get them all done, and then I'll show you the last step. All right, after I put a cap on each nipple, I like to make sure they are seated good and firmly. So I just take a wooden dowel and I just press them down to make sure each one is where it belongs. There we go. Okay, now for me, I bring it along and put the hammer down on an empty chamber. If you want to load all 6, if you can see on your gun, there's a little pin, right, that fits in the slot on the hammer. You can load 6 safely by doing that. I prefer to just have an empty chamber. That's as safe as you can get. Okay, so let's go shoot it and have some fun. Well, now that you can see how we loaded the Navy, let's let's shoot it and make sure it goes bang.
I have bought a cursed converter and put on it, complete with the ejector rod. As you can see, the ejector rod assembly. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it as far as fitting it, and of course it took a little while to cut the channel there for the loading gate. I did that with a Dremel, and I started out with a small sanding disc, or drum, excuse me, small sanding drum. And I finished, once I had the angle right and I knew I was going the right way and didn't need to go the side no more, I used the big one to finish it. And that's actually just barely larger than the diameter of the large sanding drum. You set it in there and it just almost fits perfect. As you can see, put her on half cock. There's a 45 Colt shell cartridge, excuse me, out of a Pieta cap and ball 44. I cast myself on 7.8 grains of universal powder. So let's see if I can hit, see if it functions, whatever. It's shooting high, just a hair left. So I'm going to do a little parse of my Kentucky's Winnie's hiccups. Close. Still shooting over. That was enough to scare the kid. I don't think I hit it. I didn't tear up hell in half of Georgia so far. So